I kind of wanted to talk about being enough. I've been 30 for about 6 months. Nothing crazy has changed, but there has been a sense of emotional weight being 30. I'm no longer in my 20s and I no longer can, claim to be young. Although I still am young, I think 30 is still young. I think there's this type of stigma where like this is where you really need to get your shit together, and quite the opposite has happened to me. I've been filming for professionally for 10 years. I've done commercials. My first commercial, when I got lucky, I was 20 years old and I got a commercial in my city in Texas, and it was the most gratifying experience I've ever had. And I thought, wow, I could actually make money off of this stuff. And so then I started to develop my craft. I started to ask a lot of questions. And those questions were, what's good? What defines a good story? What is good? That has been my pursuit. When we think about artistry or we think about filmmaking as a whole, there's almost different sides and levels to what filmmaking is. There's what I would call the techies, which is a very technical filmmaking aspect, which is your daffers, your grips, your cam operators. They live in that scope, that world of technical filmmaking. There's artistry to it, though. I've seen gaffers and grips do some crazy stuff. But then there's the emotional, artistic side with actors. We have so many worlds that come together for one thing. Grips insult actors and they're like, oh, wow, an actor has to do their job. Or, some actors, not all, are a bit divas and they're like, I have to have it my way. I'm the actor. Two things can be true, right? I think we lost nuance at some point. I think we lost having that conversation of two things can be true while two things can be not. And it feels like I feel like it's changing, but it feels like in modern day, you have to pick a side. And that's no different with film. I think people think you have to be a certain way. With that being said, there's a lot of ego involved. There's a lot of amazing people in film, but a lot of the things that aren't spoken about are bureaucracy or the politics. And I'm not talking about Democrat, Republican. I'm talking politics and film. The game you have to play. And no one talks about that. The game of film. It's weird. You make friends, but then you make enemies. You kind of realize a lot. You realize that you were wrong. And I think I've been wrong a lot. I think that's where what I talk about, like the nuance and the situations about that stuff, where I remember I was talking to someone and he's a good friend of mine. And I said, I'm not the best director. I'm not. I'm really good, but I'm not the best. And I think that cost me. I think me not being cocky about my abilities costed me. I think me being like, hey, I have flaws, it costed me. And I won't dive into personal or dramatic stuff, but I will say there has been a shift in my mentality where I feel like I'm okay with not being the quote unquote best. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. It's like, how do you define that? How do you define being the best? I'm confident in my abilities as a director. I'm very decisive as a director. I know how to work with actors. I know how to work on scripts. I know how to break them down. I know, to me, before I even continue humble bragging, I'm going to tell you what I think is good. What I think is the defining factor of what makes a good story. And that's conflict. Conflict is what makes a story good. I took this writing course a while ago, and this is not my idea, not my story. There is a man who is an alcoholic, and he needs to earn money for his mom's surgery, so he needs to go back into bartending because that's all he knows. That's appropriate conflict. And I think we know what good is because we get excited about good conflict. When you hear amazing conflict, you go, ooh, that's good. And I think that's what good is for me. But for a really long time, I kept asking, what is good? And I didn't get this answer until literally when I turned 30. I kind of realized good is a lot of things. But primarily when it comes to a story, it's appropriate conflict and resolution. Either that be the resolution is that there is no resolution, or the resolution is that, the character changes. That's also what I think is good. When a character has an arc, and by the end of that arc, the character's changed. The character cannot do the same thing the character did in the beginning, because what was the point of the story? And that goes into my second point, or my third, is what are you trying to say in your films? Anytime I thought something was cool, I would just do it. And I was just like, I just want to do things. I just want to, and I took my 20s as a way to get all that bad, writing out of my system. But I still thought I deserved the $1 million. I still thought I deserved a contract and I would change Hollywood, which is insane because that was my ego talking. My ego was telling me that I had deserved what I thought I wanted or needed because I'm consistent. So when I said I'm not the best, it was a confession. And in film, you're not allowed to have confession. It's so weird how fragile film directors are too, to be vulnerable. It's like we have to have the ability to be vulnerable, but then also we have to have the ability to be unshakable. And I think Guillermo del Toro said that. And that resonated to me because I was like, it's so true. You have to act like this larger than life person in order for you to get the job. I said I'm not the best, and I think I was having dinner with this executive producer and this producer, and we were talking about developing a feature film, and then he put his recommendations and his suggestions, and I said, "Oh, that's brilliant," and he says, "Yeah, I'm a genius." And I thought to myself, "Damn, that's bold. I don't even know you. I just met you, and you're already saying you're a genius." And congratulations to him. I don't know him. I've never seen his films. I think that's a key marker, though, of when I listen to people, I look at their films first. Because I think, am I going to take advice from someone that I don't necessarily agree with? When I first saw, and then I don't know if people are going to react to this, but when I first saw the movie Get Out, I did not like it. I thought it was a bad movie. I was like, I don't get it. I thought it was fine. I would ask people, again, I ask questions a lot, and I say, why is it good? And people would be like, it's good. It's so good. But why? Why is it good? And no one could answer me this question. Why is it good? Later on, as I did more studying, I figured out, because the writing's really solid. The way Jordan hints things and the way he does his camera work and the way he foreshadows is really brilliant. The way he wrote, it was very satisfying. I was able to come up with that through, again, the research and the videos. I watch a lot of Filmento. I watch a lot of CinemaSins, which actually is pretty good with breaking down movies in a weird way. I realized just because I don't like something doesn't mean that it's not good. Because clearly, Jordan Peele is a brilliant writer. I don't necessarily gravitate towards his movies. They're not bad. They're amazing. But they're not my cup of tea. And I think a lot of young filmmakers, if they don't like something, they don't diverge objective from subjective. I think there is an objective good and there is a subjective bad. And I say Jurassic Park is probably the most perfect movie. Again, not the biggest Spielberg fan. I hardly know Spielberg. I think he's incredible and amazing, but he's not someone I get excited about. And I didn't have rose-tinted glasses, by the way. I remember seeing Jurassic Park as a kid, and then I didn't see it until my 20s. And I thought, man, this is brilliant because it's about a guy who doesn't want to be a dad, and he's forced to confront being a dad because he's trapped with these kids. And it just so happens to be wrapped around this fantasy world of dinosaurs. And when people say, what's a good movie? I say Jurassic Park. It's good. It's really good. And I smile because it is good. It's so good. And I can explain why. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand there's objective good and there's objective bad. I inadvertently created a film society with a couple of friends of mine, and we were watching movies. And I remember being really critical about one of the movies that one of the members really liked. And he got kind of upset that I didn't like it, and I tore it apart. And then I realized I don't like tearing things apart. I don't like being critical about other movies. I don't like to be like, oh, well, I would have done this, and the mise en scène, if you know, you know. That's where when I say turn 30, I think I've realized I don't want to be the I'm the best director in the world and blah blah blah. I want to be the director who has something to say, and part of that is putting yourself in a vulnerable situation. I think growth comes with truth. And to me, what I defined as film is truth. the pursuit of truth. I had to take a good look at myself and I had to think, am I good? And then something incredible happened. I said, yes, I am good. That's why I started this YouTube channel. That's why I'm fully pursuing the, I don't want to call it the influencer life, but I'm fully pursuing whatever this is, putting myself out there because I am good. I think the question is, are you good enough to think you're good? And that takes a lot of fucking balls, man. Because there's so much I've done, but then there's so much I haven't done. And the I haven't done, and this is a very vulnerable moment, is because I wasn't good enough. Or I didn't think I was good enough. I had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and I talked all this shit about how I'm the fucking best, can direct whatever actor, and I can get whatever performance, and I know the story, and I never fell through. And I think that was the most pivotal moment as a filmmaker. Staring back at the mirror and saying, you know what? I need to grow. Once I had that inner conversation, spoke to a lot of close friends, I realized being good enough is just allowing yourself to be good enough. I hope whoever watches this understands that everyone can be amazing. I really mean that. I genuinely believe anyone and everyone can be amazing. You just have to let yourself. I have theories and what I think is the world, and I can get into those in later videos. But I think, much like The Alchemist, we each have our own legend. We just need to allow ourselves. I think if you're looking to put yourself in a very vulnerable state, I would say do it. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've been wanting to talk to the camera for so long because I like the idea of just sharing all my experiences, the little things, the big things, going over like the conversations, the thousands of conversations that I've had with experienced people in the film industry or the actors that I've worked with or the directors, the writers. And I don't want people to think I'm some fucking like know-it-all or some person who thinks he knows film and look at what he's done. He hasn't done anything. And I thought, you know what? Who cares? I don't care. And I'm really happy to say that. Like you can see it in my face. Like it's really freeing to just not give a shit. Yeah, like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to be consistent because that's hard. In terms of like, you know, just talking and talking about my experiences, I think I'm going to dedicate this YouTube channel and my Instagram to just kind of sharing that. I think a mentor of mine told me that your story is the new currency. I really took to heart all the things he told me. I think that's so cool. I don't think there is such thing as too many stories. It's just what type of story do you want to hear for the day. When it comes to ego and filmmaking, I think there's this weird balance where you have to be confident enough to be brave, but you can't let your bravado, you can't fly too close to the sun because like Icarus, you will fall. So I hope this video helped you. If you got any knowledge from it or if you liked it, let me know. And my name is Andrew Barona. I talk film and I'll see you in the next one.